Yesterday, Red Bull looked in trouble. Hydraulic failure. Half a day lost. Ford power unit questions everywhere. Max Verstappen barely ran. The paddock smelled weakness. Less than 24 hours later, he delivered one of the most controlled race simulations of the entire preseason. 56 laps without a fault. 326 kilometers per hour in the speed trap. Degradation of just 0.05 per lap. And a qualifying style lap that quietly matched the front runners. That is not a recovery. That is adaptation at championship level. But here is what makes this shocking. Red Bull introduced major aerodynamic changes overnight. New side pods. Reworked front wing. Floor updates. Most drivers would need days to adjust. Max needed hours. While others were fighting oversteer and tire drop-off, Verstappen looked calm. Minimal steering input. Neutral balance. Complete confidence. So the real question is this. Did we just witness the exact moment Verstappen mastered the Ford-powered RB22 before the season even started? Because if this level of adaptation continues, the title fight might already be tilting back toward Red Bull. Subscribe now, because what happens next in Bahrain could define the entire championship. Let's slow this down. Because what happened after that hydraulic failure tells you everything about Red Bull's internal dynamic. When the system failed on day one, it was not a minor glitch. Hydraulics in modern Formula One control critical elements. Gear shifts. Clutch systems. Differential behavior. And in some configurations, aerodynamic adjustments. If pressure drops unexpectedly, the car becomes unpredictable. And Verstappen knows that better than anyone. That is why he chose not to keep circulating. He could have added meaningless laps. He could have masked the issue. Instead, he stopped. That decision forced urgency inside the garage. Engineers did not just replace a part. They reviewed the entire pressure circuit. They inspected seals. They replaced pumps preventively. They recalibrated control systems overnight. And here is where it gets interesting. When the RB22 returned to the track the next morning, it was not simply repaired. It was refined. The Bahrain specification package was fully deployed. Reshaped side pods. Higher air inlet. Aggressive undercut channeling airflow toward the rear floor. That design reduces drag while improving diffuser efficiency. Which explains why speed trap numbers jumped to 326 kilometers per hour without tow. But speed alone does not impress Verstappen. Stability does. The new front wing geometry, with its subtle scooped central section, changed how the car reacts under heavy braking. Most cars lose aerodynamic consistency when the nose dives. The RB22 appears far less sensitive to pitch. Which means when Max brakes into turn 1, the front remains planted. The rear does not step out. That gives him freedom to attack entry. And that is exactly what we saw. Onboard footage tells the real story. Tiny steering corrections. No visible wrestling with the wheel. No mid-corner hesitation. He places the car once. And it stays there. That level of calm input only happens when the driver fully trusts the platform. And trust usually takes time. Days. Sometimes weeks. Max needed hours. But the most revealing part came during the long run. 18 laps on C3 compound. Fuel loaded. Average pace consistent. While others experienced noticeable drop-off around lap 10, Verstappen's times remained almost flat. 0.05 degradation per lap. That is microscopic. And that consistency exposes something bigger. The RB22 is not peaky. It does not rely on a narrow performance window. It operates inside a wide stable range. Which means tire management becomes predictable. Which means strategy becomes flexible. Which means race control becomes possible. Now connect that to the psychological layer. By finishing the session with a strong C4 push lap, he balanced the narrative. Yes, Ferrari may still hold a slight edge over one lap. Maybe a tenth. Maybe two. But Red Bull signaled they are not sacrificing qualifying pace entirely. They simply are not prioritizing it yet. Because the real weapon appears to be sustainability. Still, the risk remains. Hydraulic reliability must hold under race pressure. If the issue resurfaces mid-Grand Prix, adaptation will not save them. And yet, based on what Bahrain has shown so far, something feels different. Yesterday, vulnerability. Today, composure. Yesterday, doubt. Today, quiet authority. The Ford-powered RB22 is not just functioning. It is evolving. And Max Verstappen is synchronizing with it faster than anyone expected. The final day of preseason testing will tell us if there is hidden qualifying speed still to unlock. But one thing is already clear. The crisis lasted less than 24 hours. The adaptation may last all season. But there is one more layer to this adaptation that makes it even more unsettling for the rest of the grid. It is not just that Verstappen adapted quickly. It is how he adapted. Most drivers, when a car changes balance overnight, spend hours recalibrating braking points. They test corner entry speeds. They feel for rear grip. They build confidence gradually. Max skipped that phase. From his first proper push lap, he was already braking deep into turn 1. Already attacking turn 10. Already using the curbs aggressively. That tells you something critical. The RB22 is responding exactly the way he expects it to. And that alignment between expectation and response is rare. Because the Bahrain specification package changed the airflow structure significantly. The reshaped side pods tighten the waist of the car, pushing more air toward the rear floor. The vortex generators near the rear wheels help seal the diffuser from turbulent air. That creates a more stable rear platform in high-speed corners. Which means when Verstappen commits at high speed, the car does not drift unpredictably. It holds. Now combine that with the reduced pitch sensitivity from the updated front wing. Under heavy braking, when the nose dips, the aerodynamic load does not collapse. So he can carry braking pressure deeper into the corner, rotate the car earlier, and get back to throttle sooner. That is classic Verstappen territory. He thrives in the phase between braking and rotation. If the car supports that, he becomes almost impossible to pressure. But here is where the preseason context matters. Testing is not racing. Fuel loads vary. Engine modes are hidden. Teams sandbag. So we are not looking at absolute dominance. We are looking at behavior patterns. And the behavior pattern we saw in Bahrain is clear. When the RB22 is stable, Verstappen does not overdrive it. He refines it. He smooths it. His steering inputs become minimal. His throttle application becomes progressive. And tire degradation drops dramatically. That is exactly what the long-run numbers suggest. Around 0.05 of a second per lap drop-off over 18 laps. That is elite-level control. Now imagine this on race day. Ferrari may launch aggressively. They may hold a slight qualifying advantage. But if degradation appears around lap 10, and Red Bull can extend the first stint by 2 or 3 laps, strategy flips. Undercuts become harder. Overcuts become possible. Safety car timing becomes advantageous. And suddenly, the narrative shifts from Saturday speed to Sunday execution. Still, there are vulnerabilities. Hydraulics must prove reliable under race stress. High ambient temperatures in Bahrain will test cooling systems further. And we have not yet seen Red Bull fully reveal its qualifying engine modes. There may be more. Or there may not. That uncertainty is deliberate. Because preseason testing is also psychological warfare. Show enough to intimidate. Hide enough to protect. And what Verstappen did on day 2 was not loud. It was controlled. He did not chase headlines. He delivered consistency. He showed that yesterday's failure did not disrupt his rhythm. And perhaps most importantly, he showed that the Ford-powered RB22 is not a fragile experiment. It is a structured evolution. The final day of testing will answer one last question. Is their hidden one-lap pace still to unlock? Or is Red Bull fully committed to race control as their primary weapon? Either way, one fact is already exposed. The crisis did not slow Verstappen down. It accelerated his synchronization with the car. And when that happens this early in the season, the rest of the grid should pay attention. And now we arrive at the most important question of all. What does this adaptation actually mean for the championship fight? Because preseason testing is full of illusions. Fast laps can deceive. Fuel loads can mislead. Engine modes can hide true performance. But rhythm does not lie. And what Bahrain has revealed so far is that the RB22 has rhythm. Look closely at the pattern. Day 1, hydraulic failure. Confidence shaken. Track time lost. Day 2, complete reset. 56 laps in the morning. Long run in the afternoon. Strong push lap at dusk. That is not random recovery. That is structural resilience. And Verstappen is at the center of it. When a driver adapts this quickly, it reduces development time dramatically. Engineers receive precise feedback. Setup direction becomes clearer. Correlation improves faster. Which means upgrades arrive with higher accuracy. That feedback loop is a competitive advantage in itself. Now think about the Ford integration. New partnerships usually create uncertainty. Cooling questions. Packaging compromises. Energy deployment calibration. Yet so far in Bahrain, thermal stability looks strong. No visible overheating. No emergency bodywork changes. Which allows Red Bull to run tighter rear packaging. Which increases aerodynamic efficiency. Which reduces drag without sacrificing stability. Again, everything connects. And Max is already exploiting it. There is also a psychological element unfolding quietly. Ferrari's innovation has captured attention. McLaren's consistency is impressive. Mercedes is searching for stability. But when Verstappen completes a race simulation with almost no degradation after a public mechanical issue the day before, it sends a subtle message. We are still here. We are still composed. And we can recover instantly. That kind of resilience forces rivals to rethink their assumptions. Because championships are rarely decided by the fastest car on a single Saturday. They are decided by which team absorbs setbacks without losing momentum. And in Bahrain, Red Bull absorbed a failure and responded within hours. Still, there are unanswered questions. Can they unlock more qualifying pace? Will the hydraulic system remain stable under full race stress? Are they holding back engine modes? Or have we already seen the ceiling? Those answers will shape the opening Grand Prix. But one thing is no longer speculation. Verstappen's adaptation to the Ford-powered RB22 is real. It is visible in his steering inputs. Visible in his long-run consistency. Visible in his calm radio messages. And when a driver of his caliber reaches that level of synchronization this early in the season, the competitive landscape shifts. Because once confidence is established, pace usually follows. And if pace follows, the preseason narrative changes completely. What began as doubt has turned into quiet warning. The RB22 may not look revolutionary. It may not dominate headline times. But it looks controlled. It looks efficient. And in the hands of a fully synchronized Verstappen, that combination is dangerous. The final day of testing will offer one last glimpse before the real battle begins. But as of now, one truth is clear. The crisis exposed vulnerability. The response exposed strength. And the adaptation may already be setting the tone for the season ahead.